What's going on, Crash the Industry TV? I see you, my brother. I'm loving the energy. Shout out to MJMG Presents. Shout out to everybody on Apple TV, Google TV, and all the other TVs that we got going on. Salute to everybody today. We're gonna have a really dope. I gotta turn this down. I got my backup cam on. We're gonna have a really dope sit down today. This individual. I don't want to even do the intro too early, but this individual is a creative of creative. This individual was nominated for a Grammy. This individual is not only a songwriter and a singer, but does a lot to this. There's many layers, and we're gonna talk about that today on this sit down. And may I add, last week on the A&R desk, this individual seized the win. So he was double up, and he was already scheduled. For today's meeting. So that's pretty dope. But we're gonna have a really dope interview. And if you know MJMG Presents SHU Radio, what we do here is we have this nice intellectual, creative conversation with creatives of all types. And today, we will not fall short, nonetheless. So with that being said, we're gonna go into one of these records called Picture Day. So it's a video. I want y'all to really do the knowledge to this song. I didn't watch it yet, so this is my first time watching it with y'all. Let me know in the comment what y'all think, and we're gonna bring this brother right on the set. So stay tuned. And again, thank you for jumping on today. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll be right back with the set, y'all. Check this out. This is Picture Day.
Why do you choose everything over me?
I mean, I don't.
When was the last time I saw you?
I mean, we be chilling.
We be chilling.
Yeah. Why you
I knew you was gonna be here.
So?
What do you mean so?
It's
If it's not here, then it's the bar, or it's your friend's house. But it's
so?
never home.
Why you tripping?
It's never home. You're never home. No.
What do you want?
What do I want?
Yeah. What do you want?
What do I want?
No, you gonna just leave?
No.
Tazi! Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Let me in your house of secrets. Stumble into your room. Your worry, Pandora's box is open. I'm exposed to every little truth. Every closet door is broken. And now I'm hearing all unspoken. Just make room for me. Down with all you bring. If this is who you are, if the angels sing, let these roses soothe. Shutters in the gutters, painted colors so they'll notice you. Move me in your house of secrets. I'll take real good care of you. Yeah. I ain't never had nobody treat me like it.
That was very cinematically put together, y'all. I'm seeing the fire emojis in the chat. I think that was Billy Mitchell said that's acting right there. That sure was shot very well. Shot very well. I was looking at it from different lenses as an artist, an engineer, photographer, everything. Right? It hit all the elements. It hit all the elements. It hit all the elements. With that being said, hitting all the elements, this individual himself hits all the elements. Again, like I said, singer, songwriter. You could add actor, engineer, visionary, whatever you name it when it comes to the creative aspects. And what I love about it, it holds no boundaries. It's not boxed into a set genre. He's not lost in the ideas of what he can and cannot do or what he should do. It's all expression. Without further ado, let's bring the man of the hour to the front of the stage, please. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, SHU? What's going on?
So first and foremost, really dope visuals. Really dope visuals right there. Let's talk about that before we even get deep into you. Let's talk about the inspiration behind that, because that don't sound like or feel like or even look like just some song that you just do. I got an idea. I just want to do this. It seems like there's a lot more to that. So let's talk a little bit about that before we go any further.
So, I mean, of course, there's levels to it, of course. And, we could talk about that further later as we get more into the project itself. But for that specific visual, Picture Day being the name of the album and the name of that particular song, we had to bring it in as dramatic as that, one of my engineers in my studio, Prosper Obasi, he was kind of the visionary behind that whole script.
Oh, where you go? We lost him real quick. Hold on. Let's go backstage real quick. While we get that straight, I'm gonna send him a message. I just want to tell everybody right now, thank you for jumping on. Shout out to everybody coming on. Yo, Knack Stars, I see you. Yo, Dalomonze, I know you. Okay, we got that. Technical difficulties. That was a quick fix.
Yeah, somebody tried to call me. So
that's how it be.
People be like, "You on?" Like,
I was just double checking. Oh man.
So yeah, my guy Prosper Obasi, that was, he was kind of the visionary behind the visual itself. But it's crazy because I've only met this guy maybe a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And it's been like, I'm like, where were you 10 years ago when I really needed you? And he was like, I was like 12. He said it would have probably been a little weird, but like I've always been one for the dramatics and the flair, and his vision fit right with the concept of the feel of the song. And a lot of my music, people was like, oh man, I can see that in a Disney film, or I can hear that on Black Panther trailer, and all of those things. So to be able to put it in that format where it's like people like, oh, are you making a movie? Like, this is a movie trailer. When I was putting out the teaser for it, they was like, is this a whole movie? What's going on? You on Tubi next week?
One of our viewers put it looks like an episode on a Netflix series.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? So it captured
Netflix over Tubi. Thank God. I appreciate that.
I most definitely I would say give many productions on Tubi a way run for his money, without a doubt. But let's talk about you a little bit. I know you dabble in every aspect of the creative process, but when did you fall in love with this idea and this concept of like creating music?
So do I break it up into like doing music or like really getting into the background of it?
The background, like I want to know a little bit about that background.
Okay, so one kind of funneled into the other. When I started getting more into the background of music was when I realized how broke I was.
Mm. Oh wow.
I
Okay.
realized I couldn't afford to go to a recording studio. I realized I didn't have the resources and the family and the things around me in order to thrive, as an artist. So what I did was I started trying to connect with more people. And as I connected with more people, I learned. And as I learned, I don't hoard information. So I started teaching it. And then people was like, "Oh, you're like a mentor." That automatically put me in the background. And then as I learned to record as an engineer, I also I enjoyed listening to sound spaces. So I got into acoustics. So I started getting into building studios. And eventually to the point where I built my own studio, and I'm hiring engineers, and I'm training them. I'm training artists to engineer. Um, and before I knew it, that's just where I was, where I wind up, it again, it all stemmed from I like to sing. I just want to sing. Like Music Soul Child says, I just want to sing. So, there's levels to doing it, but most of my life I just want to sing. And if I can bless people in doing it, I love connecting with people and helping improve people. My music does it. What I do in the background does it. All the intentions behind what I do, that's what it's about.
And how did you find your voice? Like, was it from the gate, or you developed into that? Was that training? How did you find your voice?
So it's crazy because I used to sing high. Like I sang the silly of me to the things that I and the them notes up
Keep go,
there. I
keep
used to
going.
hit
Keep.
them. I used to hit them like nothing. And I actually was in the Cleveland Orchestra Children's Singing Chorus.
Okay.
And when I first got into it, I was like out of the 75 kids in there. Um, it was 12-year-old me, and I was a alto and soprano,
Oh
and
wow.
it was only four black kids. And this little black boy in the alto and soprano section. so so that was kind of where things started was I was kind of had that classical training and being able to just learn how to be dynamic with my voice, and singing Ave Maria.
Okay.
Even though I'm from the hood, like
I
I'm
I dig it though. I dig it. I so
from the
dig it.
streets singing Ave Maria in my spare time. But when my voice changed and it started kind of developing more, I learned that kind of that growl in my voice. Like I got one song that says it's like "Mama, I'm sorry," but I shied away from that for the longest because I thought that was a flaw in my voice.
Oh, okay.
Instead, I started to realize that that was a unique characteristic of my voice
Straight
that
up.
that winds up being something like, oh,
Yeah.
that's Dalo.
That
That's
that
Dalo Mines.
that talks to your soul though. When you got
Yeah.
mama, like that awakens something in you.
Yeah, yeah.
Was there ever a time, while you was doing that, that you faced kind of like the resistance from those around you that was like, nah, that's far fetched. Like, don't do that, or do take this route, or try that. And how did you balance through that?
Well, if there was a time, I would say it was most. Um,
Mm,
there's there's always been a shortage of supporters and an overage of people who have a vision for me, outside of what, God has been pointing me towards. And it's crazy because I feel like God gave me the full picture, but didn't show me where I can find the puzzles pieces in order to put it together. So
you got to do the
I
work.
had,
You got to do the
yeah,
work, right?
I had the full picture in mind at 17, but I didn't know where to start because I'm like, but I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have these people, and I'm looking for this and I'm looking for that. But then this thing presents itself, and a lot of times it was key people in my life. Specifically my grandmother and my older brother that was what were my first biggest like do not saying my mother didn't because my mother definitely did, but she worked so much like she had to hold down the house, but the people that were just I got to like really sat down and talk to, it was like you have a voice, you have something in you that's amazing, and it's bigger than just a voice because I used to have problems getting past that too. A lot of times I would say, I would have moments. I would have like a whole day that I would just go around. I'd be moping, and people like, "What's wrong with you? What's going on?" I'm like, "Y'all, people don't really like me. Y'all just like me
Mm.
because I can sing." And for the longest time, that's the only identity that I had even put on myself, until I stepped back from like singing and doing music for like about a year or so. I started a radio show. I was doing ministry and helping with creating events. I learned that I can communicate well and I can, uplift people. So coming out of that and getting that push again to want to sing again, it it built upon that foundation even more of you're not just a singer, you have so much more in you, so you can put all of that inside of this package called music career.
I think that I had a question for the early stage, but you
Okay.
just sparked the question now. And what drew you back to your voice in that
Mhm.
aspect? What drew you back to like I'm gonna do this music?
Yeah, so like I said, for the longest time I really wasn't tapping into that growl and that sound. um I had a show when I was 18, and this was before I did it because I had about three different transitions in my music career. This was after my first transition because I was with a group and the group fell apart. Um, and I did a show. It was in Cincinnati, Ohio. First
Okay.
time I've ever been there. I didn't know anybody there except for the person who helped get me to the event. I think I had a 15-20 minute show set. I made them laugh, cry, get angry, and get horny in the same show set. And it scared the living daylights out of me because I was
Wow.
like, I felt like I had their hearts in my hand, I could have changed the song and completely changed the atmosphere. And it scared me because I'm like, where am I leading these people to?
Okay.
What am I doing for them
So
past just singing and giving them an experience?
I respect that.
So like after that, I got saved and I made this transition from being this, R&B singer until like I wanted everything I would do, I'm doing it for God. And I kind of stopped singing because I was like, well, I was doing that to get numbers. So
He, he,
or I was doing that to please people, and it wasn't necessarily pleasing me at that time. And I was like, I found out I can, like I said, I can rap. Found out I was lyrical. I could rap. So I started spitting. But then one day it's just, the music start coming back to you, and the way that it comes to you, you can't deny it. So
you
I just
can't
was
deny
like,
it.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sing again, So yeah, man, it's been some shifts even since then, but it came back to me when I needed it, because then now I'm not just a vocalist, I'm a lyricist too.
Yes.
So it just, like I said, it just built so much upon, me and my character as an artist. I confuse people. They're like, okay, this show, are you Dalo in the band? Are you rapping? Are you singing? What are you doing this time? What's
That
happening? They
that's
just know it's
funny.
gonna be a good show though.
We know it's gonna be good. We just want to know what we should expect today.
Should I wear my church clothes or we going to the club? What's happening?
I want to stop there for a minute and rewind.
Okay.
I know you mentioned that you couldn't get into a studio, and the phrase you said, you realize how much money it took to get in there. When you finally did get to the studio, how did that make an impact in who you are today and how you go about music?
Well, where I went changed everything because it made me bougie.
Talk about it. Let's talk
So
about it.
so first I started, recording in a friend, Jamil Malone, KO, recording in his closet, and he was showing me how to work Cool Edit Pro and, Magic Studios and stuff like that. But then I met a guy named DJ Fatty Banks through doing a song with his group, Block Bang Gang. That's how you know I was in the streets for real. Block Bang Gang took me to this hood studio, but the engineer was just amazing, and I was just asking him a bunch of questions and just talking to him, and he was telling me how he was about to be building a studio, and he told me where, and I'm like, that's down the street from me.
Wow.
I'm like 16 at the time, 16 and a half. And I'm like, listen, I'm serious. If you need help, I will help you. So and I gave him my number. And he called me. He let me know, hey, this is the day I'm gonna start. If you show up, you show up. If you don't, you don't. I hopped off the school bus, went there, helped him build that studio. Then after it got built, I was there in kind of like a secretarial form,
Okay.
but I'm meeting all of these local artists and a Grammy nominated artists and Grammy award winning artists, and I'm listening to these studio sessions and my ear is just going up and up. So now I can't record on Cool Edit Pro in the closet no more.
I'm like, what? I'm not going in there.
So, I started working on a little bit of things on the side there, but I started learning Pro Tools and getting better equipment and, building that ear, and starting to learn how to engineer. And, it just took some time, but I was so determined to get the sound that I wanted that you couldn't stop me. It was gonna happen.
In the process of you finding that sound that you wanted and recording in that studio, and like you kind of mentioned you got a little bougie, was there ever a
Yeah.
moment that you were in your own way?
Yes, I think that's people. A lot of times, artists when they first start, they're automatically like, okay, what's my thing? What's my sound? Your sound is what comes out.
I love it.
And I didn't realize that because it took for the longest. I was like, why is it that when I'm making songs, when I'm writing songs, they all sound so different? Like I'm playing them next to even a local artist, and it don't sound like what everybody else sound like. I'm playing it next to an industry artist. It don't sound like what they sound like, but it's not bad. But I'm like, but it don't sound like them, and why is that? And I'm so confused, not realizing I already had the originality. People say we want to hear something different, and I got something different, and I'm like, but it's different. What do I do with it? So for the longest, I learned how to write the cookie cutter tracks. I got plenty of. I can write a pop record like this. I can write a regular just R&B single like that. That's what turned me kind of into a songwriter. But I didn't realize I was in my own way, not just creating with how it came out in the first place and then presenting that, because I ran away from it. I would record it and then I'd be like, well, since it don't sound like everything else, I shouldn't put it out because I don't know where to put it.
Wait, yeah. And now you're taking an original thing and comparing it to something that's so common and it don't fit. I most definitely get that concept.
Yeah.
When
Not
I-
realizing, like, literally when the word says the gift will make room for you, it will. The more you put it out there, the more you start seeing the places that it fits into, or people move things out the way to be like, you fit right here.
Yeah, that's true indeed. I know I work with a lot of artists in the studio and outside of the studio, and there's a common theme, and even when I met you we had a brief conversation about it, but there's a common theme when artists or individuals find themselves in the word and find the Lord. They have that conflict of, wanting to be boxed into that, or
Right.
the freedom to express. They feel like they have to just talk about one thing, one aspect, one way, and deliver it the same. Was that something you faced, and how did you overcome and mesh your passion with your beliefs?
So I took the approach like a somebody that approach you in the streets. That's a evangelist. That's a believer. They're not going to come up to you and say Jesus is the way you need him right now. Some might, but those are the ones you ignore, right?
Yeah. Yes.
The ones that you're actually paying attention to are the ones that come to you in a common way. You might be in the store, y'all accidentally hit a box of cereal and it fall on the floor and pick it up like, oh man, my bad. How you doing? I'm doing good. Y'all have a regular conversation, and before you know it, you done got saved in the store. Like, what just happened? And now I realize, like, that's the approach. It's not to ignore my faith or belief, but it's also to make sure that I'm meeting people in life where they are. I'm talking to you about having a family. I'm talking
Yeah.
to you about having a desire for love, but my mother taught me that I need to make sure I choose the right type of person that I'm with, and I don't just jump into anything. But then I got married at 21, and she like, that's kind of quick, ain't it? But I'm like, I knew it was right, so I gotta pursue it. Sorry, mama.
And gotta do, and that we also need that room in our lives to figure it out.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? To
yeah,
figure it out, and
yeah,
that's what you were doing. So
yeah. And
now,
inside of that story, there's faith, there's love, there's Christ, all of that, and it's nothing to bring to light that message in it. A lot of times, even when I write in double entendres. I'm writing as if I'm talking to my spouse, and if I'm talking to God.
got you
Every single word lines up
with
with
that.
with with either conversation.
Was there a moment? Was there a moment where the noise, there's so many elements out here that challenges or blocks that positivity, that word. Were there any challenges with you, putting out your music and your creation amongst the noise?
Putting it out, yeah. Not necessarily changing me wanting to do it or anything, no. But definitely putting it out because it's always a political climate, you know. Um, depending on either who's in office or who's the dominant voice of the media. So sometimes you might be like, okay, it's time to put out that record that's more talking about my black skin, my brown skin, because it fit the time. But for the most part, man, I don't create because of how something sounds now or because of how music sounds now. I create based on how it made me feel. And I know that feeling can come back around at any given point. So even though we go through our certain cycles in life, somewhere inside of that cycle, a song of mine will fit right in, even if it's 20 years from now.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah,
Music is mood. Music is
yes,
mood, and mood does
yes.
come back around.
Hmm.
So going back, and I like the fact that we're going back, and we're coming to a meeting place. We come.
Right, right,
There's a
right.
method to this madness, everybody out there, right? But so when you was in the studio and you started to see and mesh and be around all these talents, when was your first project actually put out, or your first body of work put out, and how did that feel? You over here like, oh Lord, how was that? I want to talk about that right there real quick.
My first project was this CD. It was on CD, and it was It was a 5-track project. I had a song called Love Letter, Paradise, Mutual. I can't remember the other two, but literally I gave it to everybody.
Okay.
I was handing out in the hallways.
That's
I
the
wasn't
first
se-
project. That's
I wasn't
the
selling nothing. I was giving it out to everybody, man. It felt so great because just I just want to sing and I know that it's reaching people, you know? And what's crazy is I'm gonna put my age out there. I'm 36. I have people from 20 years ago when I released that CD that still be like, "Hey, where can I find that song Paradise?" Like, bro, chill.
hey, hey, when it's good, brother. When it
It was
reaches, he said,
not
my man said it was not good.
good. Once my engineer ears been kicked in, and in my writing, my intention in my writing, it was just like people was like love letter, man. I'm like, really, really? I went
So
on MySpace to look for that. MySpace ain't even active.
you said something that sparks a good question. You said something. You said your engineer air and just your penmanship and the growth. Has there ever been a moment for you that your engineer air and your growth kind of made what you were doing challenging because now you're trying to get to this, you're trying to push the envelope or keep it to this, and you
Yeah,
could be hitting the mark? How has that been a conflict, or has it ever been a
yeah.
conflict for you?
It has. I like I said, I did a few restarts, few resets. One was because one was because the group I was with, half of them went to jail. Um, and then I was a solo artist. And then after that, I got saved and I adjusted everything. Changed
Yeah.
everything. But then I was like, I can be saved, but I don't have to just not. I don't have to not sing. I don't have to not be passionate. I don't have to not deliver this in a way that it comes to me. Like
Yeah.
I can't help. I sound like Slim from 112, and so like I'm gonna present it the way that it's here. So when that last transition happened, I had realized how many times I had taken stuff down and like reset and rebranded and all of that. And even though you can still Google me and stuff pops up, there's a lot that was like taken away. There's a big like kind of a gap. Like how you ever when you were in regular 9 to 5, when they were like, what's this 4 or 5 year employment gap? There was like this 4 or 5 year music gap,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
kind of
what
presented
did you do
itself.
all those times? You like,
Right. And what's
I
crazy is
deleted stuff.
I was doing shows almost monthly, still I was, still creating, but in that time frame, I switched to more engineering.
Okay.
I was learning, I was actually using the artists that I was recording as my test subjects to get better with even my own music. I was still presenting them everything that,
Yeah.
the best that I possibly could, but I was like, ooh, I'm gonna take that idea the way that I did that with this, and I was developing my sound just doing that.
Yeah. I know firsthand. I know firsthand what you're saying. That's how I snowballed into it. Now,
Yeah.
with that being said, has there been stuff that you took down or stopped that you right now was like, I wish I just left it. I wish I just freed it and left it alone and just let it be.
Yeah, yeah. I had a album that I had put out called "Do You Like Me."
Wait,
Um,
you got rid of the whole album.
yeah, I
My
took it all
man.
down.
Come
I
on,
had took it
man.
all down. A lot of it was because when I put it up, I did I clicked options in which I had to like pay every year to keep it up,
Okay.
and the music wasn't making money, and where my household was at the time, it didn't suffice. Just keep dumping into something that wasn't doing a lot. I didn't see I lost track of the vision at that time, of the longevity. So I just let it, I just let it go down, and I was already rebranding anyway. So I was like, it don't, it doesn't matter. But now I look back like it mattered, because when I put out one of the songs from it as a single, that song hit billboards.
There you go.
So
There you go. There you go. So, for those that are just jumping on and just jumped on, we're talking to Dalomonze right now, and he's sharing his journey. And for those that don't, we're gonna talk a little bit about this, and I would like your viewpoint. He's 2-time Grammy nominated.
mhm.
Two time. I don't know. Some people ain't zero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
How did that feel to yourself once you saw it and that moment with the nomination, and did it affect you not only positively but negatively in your career?
Okay. So I got 2 Grammy nominations and a Dove nomination
You
in
heard
that
my
same
man. My
spit.
man says, "Spud, get it together, get it right. If you gonna say it, if you gonna say it, say it."
So positively, it was from the song that I re-released as a single that was on that album.
Look at
When I
that.
re
The one
when
you
I
was getting rid
re-released
of.
it, yeah, exactly, right. I put it back out, and it was just perfect time, and it was actually during the pandemic. And honestly, I was discouraged because we had wanted to move and be in a better place, that was better with music, and more opportunities, and we weren't able to do that. So I was like, man, I'm just stuck posting stuff online. And before I knew it, that song had reached my guy Kelby over at Making It Magazine, and then he had put me on a live, and someone reached out to me after that live that knew an artist named MC Nice, and he was in a group called the Lighter Shade of Brown, and they had a song called On a Sunday Afternoon. My song was called On a Sunday, and
Okay.
he wanted to potentially remix the song with me. And it turned into, I found out he was going to do to do his album in Atlanta, because he lives in LA. And I was like, Atlanta, I can do. It was cheap. Going from hood to hood is easy. We're going from Ohio to LA. Oh, that's like 4 times more. But I was like, oh, Atlanta, bet I'll be there. He was so honored with me just flying from Ohio to be in the studio with him, to meet him, to be a part of his project. He was like, he told his dude Peasy, Sam Peasy, he was like, play it, send him a track, write something. And so I did what I do and what I've been doing. I wrote something, and he was like, I like it. It's going on the album. And then he found another opportunity, doing the anthem for the second largest minor league basketball team in the nation, TBL, and
Okay.
he put me on with that as well. I was the one of the anthem singers for that, so that got nominated Anthem of the Year, and the song we did that had got nominated Gospel Song of the Year. So that was the positive. The positive was that, like leaping out on faith, and taking a risk like that, and just trusting that gut, turned into something that was like something I definitely didn't expect. The negative of it,
Yeah.
not necessarily the negative, but more of the, oh, it was, I realized when I pulled back the curtain of how it works, it's not as, how do I put it? It's not as fabulous. It's not like it don't feel like I won a Grammy nomination. It feel like I just knew the right person to get a Grammy nomination. And I can always go and just get another Grammy nomination, get another, like, it just is like, oh,
Gotcha.
okay. It just is like, oh, but it's still a Grammy
And
nomination.
still, grandma, and I purposely asked you that, so that way, to get your perspective, but also for the viewers, because when we're on the outside, and not necessarily the outside, when we on our pursuit,
Mhm.
sometimes the things that we look at with these big bright eyes,
Yeah.
it's different take, that it ain't over just because that happened.
Right, right,
You
right,
gotta,
right.
and that's why I
True.
wanted to ask you, an individual who had the nominations, about the both sides
Yeah.
about that.
Because the
So
Grammy nomination, it doesn't come with anything but the title of Grammy nominee. It doesn't come with the fans. It doesn't come with money. It doesn't, it's just like most people don't know when you get a song on, on the top on Apple Music or something like that. It doesn't come with the plaque. You
No.
have to buy the plaque.
you got to buy the plaque.
You gotta buy the plaque, and people don't know that. People
Yeah.
be like, oh my gosh, they just sent me. YouTube just sent me this plaque.
Yeah,
No,
you got to pay
you
for
paid
it. Yeah.
$700 for that.
You got to
one.
pay for it. You got to pay for it. Yeah.
That was a premium plaque too.
Yeah,
you know.
you gotta pay for it. Most artists pay for their Grammys unless the label put in a budget to pay for it, but it's paid for. Nonetheless, it's paid for.
It's definitely paid for because a lot of it is and I mean people I hate to say it's paid for, but it is. Like,
It is.
You pay for that promotion to the right people for enough votes,
and it can happen.
Yeah.
It can't happen. It can't happen. So now with you getting that, and then you're getting a new insight of how things work. Was that ever discouraging?
I mean, it made me less want to be like a just traditional signed artist. It pushed me more towards that independence and finding a way to create a career in independence than trying to create a career out of becoming just a signed artist that gets told exactly what to do and where to go, and not owning anything for about 10-15 years.
Well, shout out to Don Good. He said, so who I need to pay? he want his. He said, who do you need to pay? Who do you need to pay? Well, the first thing you do is find someone in the record academy, the recording academy. You find someone. We can talk about that off air.
Oh, okay. I'll get the secrets.
He said,
because I had one guy, the guy Prosper, that when I met him, he was like, I want a Grammy. I was like, that's not everything. I was like, aim higher. He was like, I thought that was high. I was like, no, that's about right here.
Yeah.
I was like, build what you do, build your network. Grammys are gonna come in the process of just building the network in the first place.
Yeah.
And you're gonna realize like, oh, okay, Grammy wasn't anything.
And a Grammy is very good for those who already had the accolade.
Right.
It boosts your accolade margin.
Right. Now it's not a bad thing to be.
No.
It's not a bad thing to be one of the ones where you get the Grammy, the Emmy,
Yeah. Most definitely.
I think it's a small niche of people that wind up getting all of these things. That's a goal. That's a goal, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's at a certain position too.
Yeah, but it is most definitely not everything. Especially if you are still building your outline. If you still building your outline and win a Grammy, you still got to build your outline. So it doesn't. It's not a collect 200 and go straight to gold.
Yeah.
You most
and a lot of people they don't realize they're essentially putting up really great promo for a party that they didn't plan. They want a Grammy for this single that they have, and they don't have any other music,
anything else,
any other history.
It don't lead to nothing.
Yeah, or don't know how to perform well. All of these different things. And it winds up being more of a hindrance because you wind up pursuing something that has an end. It has an end.
It has an end. Yes, sure does. Let's talk a little bit about Picture Day.
Okay.
You drop. We went into the visual. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go into that visual again later into the show, and then I'm also gonna go into the other song. But let's talk a little bit about Picture Day and the vision for that project.
Right. So the first thing that I came up with was the music, because I am sonically talented, but I am visually impaired. People be like, okay, so this song is amazing. What do you see in it? I was like, I see MP3s and waveforms. That's what I see. So I had to have essentially a team of people that, you know, presented themselves in the past couple of months, in the past year. Sarai Murdoch, Prosper Obasi, you know, Amari Clark, Mars Clark Productions, their whole Jote Productions team, uh, uh, Dominic Fortini, so many names, Leonardo Calhoun, like my wife Kiera Warren. They all helped me put together this idea. So when the first thing that I actually came up with was picture day, right? I was like, you know how when there's picture day in school, you've already been to school months. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they've already seen your best. They seen your first day
All that.
flyers, outfit, everything brand new. You took the tags off before you walked into school, you know? And then they seen when you ain't have no clothes washed.
All that.
And you had to throw something on real quick because you was late for school. They didn't seen your good, your bad, and your ugly, you know? And yet picture day comes up and it's a chance to represent yourself for the year. This is what you're
You're
gonna show.
capturing this for everything.
Exactly.
I love
So
it.
that was what this project became, was a capture, a snapshot of where I am. They've seen the good, they've seen the bad, they've seen the ugly, even though, you know, people will say I ain't seen nothing ugly from you, but in my mind, it's been ugly, you know? Even if it's consistency, that's been the ugly part. So it's like this is me representing myself, and this is the package that I want to put out at this time to let you guys know where I am. And I'm pushing harder and harder from here. So Sarai helped me with the visual of the I didn't even get to sing you the actual image. Sarai helped me with the visual of the graphic for the whole project. And what I did was I did kind of the typical personality. So class clown, the goth, the nerd, the church boy, you know, the jock, you know, and you know, that was literally the image for it, was all of these images, you know,
Yeah.
and it was framed inside of a, you know, classroom background. um uh my guy Sean Poe had you know, helped with the graphics for that part. So it was like, okay, that's amazing because these different songs represent different moods and feelings and vibes. Like you can, like a friend of mine that's known me since I was 15, he was like, man, like I ain't a fan, but now I'm a fan. He was like, I'm
Mm.
your friend. I'm your friend first and foremost. I always said you was talented. He was like, but this project, when I listened to it and I listened to it, I listened to it because the artwork didn't make sense until I really listened to it. And then I was like, I see the class clown in that one. I see the goth in that. I see the jock in that. Like you start seeing the different personalities in the songs, and it makes so much more sense, you know. And then
Nice.
to have the dramatic trailer movie style visual rollout that we're about to be presenting, it's going to take you on a journey, a story that just shows this. It shows the emotions behind these songs, because that's what I love the lyrics, but it's all about the emotions
The
and the
emotion.
dramatic flair. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. You mentioned, and we have artists on. You mentioned an abundance of people that took part in making this vision come through. Were you always that easy to find people to collaborate and work with? And if you weren't, could you give advice to those that are on some of the ways they can go about to maximize a
Mhm.
collective of abundance of people to work? Because a lot of people have that problem.
Right. Yeah. Um, I never had an issue collaborating with people. How I started was from collaborations. When I couldn't get the sound that I wanted to get, what I did was I collaborated with artists that had the money for studio time and, you know, was already doing shows and events and stuff. So I would collaborate with them, and then I would, most of the time I would try to be the best person on the record. Even if their parts were already done, it was even worse because I was about to go. I was about to go hard. So they would always present the song, and and if they had a show, I was there. I was going to be there. I was going to jump on it. I was going to do that. So connecting with people and collaborating was never the problem. The hard part is leading people, and you have to not be afraid to lead people. I Even though I don't have the vision for visuals, I still know when it's wrong. I still know when I don't like it, when it don't fit.
Yeah.
So even though this person is good with the visuals, I have to still be the leader and say, that's not it. We can shelf that. We can use that for this and this, but let's try something else for this one. You know, I didn't give them any prompt or any assistance in doing the creative product. But you got to get people that's willing to work with you and understand where you are and how you are, and then eventually you start realizing like, oh, I got a whole group behind me, and if you're the type of person that knows business well and can turn that into a label, like,
There you
push,
go.
go for it. Don't be afraid to approach the people that are willing to support you. That are I have a friend who's an English major, and she just would be my creative writer. I don't call on her for stuff all the time, but sometimes I'll be like, I need my bio updated. Can you help me? I'm about to write a whole bunch of stuff down, and I'm gonna send it to you, and I want you to condense it. Because I know it's not gonna be grammatically correct, and I might wind up, saying the same thing over and over again. Just fix it. Just fix it for me. And I've been working with her for 10 years doing that. So yeah.
Salute to you and her. It's really difficult for people to find those that work well with you, and you work well with them.
Right, right.
There's one question that we ask on the show. We ask everybody on the show. This is the only question that we ask everybody on the show. And it's with everything that you've learned and experienced, all the information that you have obtained and knowledge that you have. If you could look back at the younger Dalomonze and just look back at yourself and tell yourself something, what would that be?
I actually have said this in another interview, but it just holds true. Um, put everything out. Don't be afraid to just be you. Um, put it out, present it. Don't just stack it on top of each other, but have a plan for it. Have a method behind your madness, but put it out. Don't be afraid to be yourself, because you never would realize that's the one thing that creates your creativity, your originality. We often we look at who we model ourselves after, and we're like, oh, but I hit this note, but it doesn't sound like Usher would hit it. It's because you're not Usher.
Yep.
Like, you don't realize, I started, especially as my ear developed more and I listened to Michael Jackson, I was like, he didn't hit some of these notes. But it's not the fact that he didn't hit it on key that or it's not the fact that it's off key. It's how he hit it that people love.
Yeah.
It's how he hit it with the amount of passion. It was like, we can't replicate that on the right note.
Yeah, you can't.
we can't replicate that what you hit was a feeling. It wasn't even the key. So we gonna
Straight
keep
up.
that feeling. So don't be afraid to, put it out, refine it, develop it, give it the most that you got. Don't just slop it together and be like, here it is, but also don't be afraid to put it out once you felt you've wrapped it up. Like, let it be.
Let it be.
flow.
Let it be. We know this is the time where everybody gets their flowers. Era, we're hearing this so frequent, but here on MJMG presents SHU Radio, we like to give our honor, because flowers do die, but honor lasts forever. And I just want to take this moment to give you your honor while you're here on the show, for your persistence of growth, gaining your expansion to outside of your hardship, even like you said, being a mentor to many artists and sharing, never gatekeeping, and giving that information and like Miss Beast just said, greatness, putting that into the universe,
Thank you.
finding your path from your hardships to finding the light that you need to guide you on your journey. I just want to take this time to give you your honor here on Shoe Radio for your travels and your energy and what you brought to the show. A lot of people were saying this is an amazing interview. We
Thank you
we
guys. I
love
appreciate that.
we love building, having that conversation, and making the talent real.
Hmm.
A lot of times we look at the talented and we only see them for the talent. But here we like to bring the talent to a real human sense of conversation where we
Right.
all could relate. So I want to take that time to just salute you, my brother.
Thank you.
If
Thank
you
you.
if you had any other word of advice for the people, and shout out to everybody on the MJMG Presents app. If you didn't download the app yet, guys, download the app. There's gonna be so many treats involved with that. But could you give an advice to the people out there, and any advice that you feel, anything, it don't got to be music related, just advice, because
Gotcha.
you've been batting 100, so I'm trying to get I'm trying to get all out of you I can.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
could you share some advice with the people out there?
Everything I do is for the dreamers, man. So, I always tell the people that are dreamers, like your friends and your family aren't your fans, you know, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that because your friends and your family aren't meant to be your fans because they can support you in reality.
Yep.
And a lot of times your fans don't know how to support your reality. Rihanna get pregnant and they mad. They like another they they like, man, another year and a half till she potentially gonna drop another record. It's like she's conceiving life.
Word up.
Her family is happy. But her fans is like, dang, Riri, why you do this to us?
That's real.
But at the same time, your family won't understand your dream. Your family won't always see that vision because they still see you as little boo boo. That when you was 1.5, you pooped on yourself at the family reunion.
Yep. And then, they just want to
they-
make sure you won't poop yourself at 30.
Yeah,
Like
they like little boo boo got a food truck. Mm-mm.
that is hilarious. For real. Before we let you go, my brother, I just wanted to open the floor if there's anybody you want to shout out. And with that being said, for those that might want to collaborate with you, possibly even interview you, even come to your studio or your sessions, get an engineer, what's the best way for someone to collaborate with you, find you, where they can get your music? This is your blast right here. Blast everything you got going on. Let the people know.
So I am Dalomonze. It might be hard to spell and remember, but write it down because you can Google me. You can find my Facebook, my Instagram, my email, all of that under Dalomonze. Dalomonze@gmail.com, @Dalomonze Warren. Like it's I am approachable. I've had somebody tell me, they was like, you look real serious and real professional in your profile. So I was scared to kind of say something. I was like, I'm probably too approachable. So don't be afraid to DM me. Don't be afraid to shoot me an email. 440-390-3256. That's my Google Voice number. Contact me. I love text messages, calls, all of that. I got a long list of people. Jamil Malone, Leonardo Calhoun, Prospero Bassi, Amari Clark, Kiera Warren, my new team of R&B artists. We creating events together. Dear listeners, consists of Billy Mitchell, Kennedy Black, Prospero Bassi, Lillian Ruffin. She's a real ruffin. It's so we got, it's a lot going on. The partner in my studio, Bird Tyus. Yeah, shouts out to my mom. And shouts out to the family.
Shout it out. Let's give another round of applause to you, my brother.
Oh,
Again,
okay. And shouts out to my wife again because she just reminded me.
she
April 12th, I have a
okay.
show.
Okay, she like you missing the splash, man. You gotta get that splash promo in.
April 12th, we have a show in Northfield, Ohio, at a venue called The Vault. That's with my team, Dear Listeners, and it's Dear Listeners on IG. Listeners, Listners,
Nice.
on IG, April the 12th. And it's gonna be all R&B, soulful, Afrobeat, pop. Yeah, it's gonna be that vibe. All
All
things.
singers. Shout out to the missus because you was just about to just walk off the set without that one. So shout out to the missus for holding it down. Most
Yeah,
that's teamwork. See, teamwork
right.
makes the dream work.
Right. I thought she just wanted to get past. I'm like,
You like let me
she
move
like,
out the way.
no.
She holding it down. She holding it down. Most definitely. Before I let you go, Miss Tris Beast made a comment and she said, she loves you off this interview. So the power of word and vision isn't only translated in the music, but it's also the movements of sound, your voice and the ideas and perspectives. So again, I want to thank you for coming on the show on this Monday, and I want to thank everybody for rocking out with us. Again, let's give another round of applause. My brother,
Thank you.
it's always a pleasure.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure, and the energy's dope. We got our eyes on you.
Awesome.
You have a good night, my brother.
You as well.
All right. Peace. Shout out to everybody on the show. That was really dope. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go into Picture Day, the official video one more time for those that might have missed it, and then we're gonna close it up. I gotta do my wrap up. So hang out, check this out. We got a vibe of him. Now you're gonna get a vibe of what he does, right? So check this out. This is Picture Day, the title track of the project Picture Day. Check it out.
Why do you choose everything over me?
I mean, I don't.
When was the last time I saw you?
I mean, we be chilling.
We be chilling.
Yeah.
I knew he was gonna be here.
So?
What do you mean so?
It's
If it's not here, then it's the bar, or it's your friend's house. But it's
So?
never home.
Why you
No,
tripping?
It's never home. You're never home. No.
What do you want?
What do I want?
Yeah, what do you
What do
want?
I want? No.
You want to just leave?
No.
Tazi! Where you going? Where you going? Where you going?
Let me in your house of secrets. Stumble into your room. Your worry, Pandora's box is open. I'm exposed to every little truth. Every closet door is broken. And now I'm hearing all unspoken. Just make room for me. I'm down with all you bring. If this is who you are, if the angels sing, let the Yeah, I ain't never had nobody treat me like it. You know me too good, it ain't no need to fight it. Most relationships get no accommodation. I got all this love I need with everything provided. Yeah. Never knew that you were in my reach. A lesson life was so willing to teach. Love ain't easy, it's always teasing, but it's pleasing to hear you when you speak. It's never too late, cause you've been sleeping on me. You never knew I was the one that you needed. Many other things seem interesting, but this heart is not a home without me, cause I'll take care of you. Take care of you. Ooh, ooh, I'll take care of you. Take care of you. Ooh, oh.
That was Picture Day by Dalomonze. Very cinematic. A lot of people was feeling that one, and I see y'all feeling that one right now as well. Alright, y'all. We coming to the end of the night. You know, I gotta get my 2 cents in, right? If you didn't get anything from today's show, anything, at least take this. At the end of the show, he mentioned the difference between the support and where it gauges. And your family will support you personally because they have a different commitment to you. And the people that don't know you will have a different support to you. What I would say to take from that is understand the different levels of support within your journey. But the key supporter out of anything, if you listen to all his words, there was one supporter that was there with him every step of the way. When he was in the streets, when he found the light, when he was recording in a closet, till he was helping building a studio, there was one person always there with him. And I'm not going just spiritual. I'm not going to say the higher power. I'm talking about him. You have to give yourself that chance to grow. You have to be there every step of the way and show up for whom? You. You can't wait for your family because they're going to support you differently. You can't wait for your new fans and your friends. They're going to support you differently. If you don't call support yourself in your journey to learn, not just the good parts, the mistakes, the scuffing your knees, all that. If you don't take the time to support yourself, none of the support matters. Not from family, not from friends, not from anything. So if you didn't get anything from tonight, take that with you. Be your biggest supporter through the ups, the downs, and the turnarounds. Because once you do that, everything else around you will matter. I want to thank you all for jumping on today. Shout out to Dalomonze. Great energy, great vibes, a lot of laughs, a lot of gems, just humanizing the expression. So most definitely check the brother out. We are gonna close the night out with a song called Generational Curse. This is off the Picture Day album. Y'all guys have a good night. Keep creative, keep blessed, and remember, support yourself during your journey. I'm from Brooklyn. Shout out to MJMG Presents. Shout out to everybody in the app. Shout out to everybody overseas showing love. I see y'all next Monday. Check me out this Wednesday. I'm going to have Effin' Genius on the show. He was also a winner with Dalomonze on the A&R desk. They tied. That's another story. We're going to talk to him this week coming up. So shout out to Dalomonze again. Check this out, y'all. Generational Curses. I'll see y'all next week.
Papa was a rolling stone and he left trails of brand new brothers. Mama was a
Correction,
working
next
soul,
week,
barely left
we're gonna have a different
energy
type of
for
show.
others. Sometimes ideas would flow, but I never planned how to reach the goal. They say this runs
you,
inside the
Trisby.
family, you know. Oh, what a hiding place. These stresses and devices can't seem to get away. It just leaves the mind divided. Don't apologize, this is just the way we're bred. But I'll try to be the better me instead. If I could make up for chances they had never tried to take all the habits we've acquired and just shake off the tendencies and urges. Got these stories from my generational curses. If I could make up for chances they had never tried to take all the habits we've acquired and just shake off the tendencies and urges. Got these stories from my generational curses.
Cause I've been working hard, 9 to 5, just cause it's in the bloodline. Tell myself that it's alright, it'll work out in good time. Even though sometimes it's lies, I tell myself I'll be fine. It's all ingrained in my